Well, hello again. Yes, well, it's that time of year again, isn't it? Nearly Christmas. And you know, I think it behoves us at this time of fun and frivolity to give a thought for the real meaning of Christmas. Let me remind you, once upon a time there was a man who was known to everybody as Joe Stiff. And he married a lady called Mary. Merry Christmas. Now, Mary was a virgin, but nevertheless was going to have a baby. Yes, a few Denby girls have tried that one too. Never works. So, anyway, Joseph and Mary were travelling to Caernarfon in North Wales to pay their taxes, you know, as was the custom in those days. Well, they'd been travelling all day and they were still no nearer really, and night was falling, and Joseph said to Mary, "I think we're going to have to find somewhere to stay for the night." Well, in the distance, they could see the twinkling lights of the little town of Bethesda. So, Joseph said, "I'm sure there'll be an inn there that can put us up." So off they went, from inn to inn, knocking on the doors, saying, "Have you room for the night?" But always they got the same reply, "There is no room at the inn." You know, I think it was a big darts tournament on or something. So, anyway, they were getting a bit desperate. So Joseph decided to pull the pregnancy card. He knocked on the door and said, "Have you any room for the night?" And the landlord said, "I'm afraid there is no room at the inn." So he said, "But my wife is with child." Not his baby, of course. So the landlord, not wanting to appear a complete bastard, said, "Well, you can have the stables if you want." So, you know, beggars can't be choosers. So off they went into the stable. And you know, that very night, Mary gave birth to a baby that would be known as Santa the Claus. Well, Joseph looked around and noticed there was no crisps for a bed, or indeed any other form of bar snacks, because, you know, probably to do with the darts tournament, I don't know. Anyway, so he was improvising now, and so he laid the baby in a mangle for a bed. Bit of a squeeze, but they managed it. Well, meanwhile, on the hills above Bethesda, some shepherds were washing their socks, when appeared unto them an angel of the laird, because, you know, the land was owned by a Scotsman. Yes, and they were sore afraid, mainly because he had sort of Lurex shorts, tutu, and had overdone the makeup a tad, if you know what I mean. "Be not afraid," said the angel, "for I am the angel Gabriel." Well, I think they probably guessed as much. And he said, "I bring you tidings of great joy, for born to us this day in the little town of Bethesda is a child who will become Santa the Claus." Well, the shepherds looked at each other in amazement. Well, more sort of bafflement really, because they were all Welsh speakers, you see, hadn't understood a word he said. Still didn't trust him though. Well, meanwhile, back at the stables, they had been visited by 3 wise men. So obviously not from Denby. They had travelled afar, following a star, because of course this was in the days before sat-nav and things. And they had come to pay homage to the child, wrapped in sozzling clothes and lying in a mangle. And they came bearing gifts of gold, Frankenstein and muff, and a box of Ferrero Rocher for Mary, because, you know, he's a bit of a looker. And Joseph, who had taken of much wine, you know, because there was an inn next door, and he spake unto them thus, saying, "Oi, are you trying to hit on my wife? Because if you are, I'll tell you where you can stick your chocolates, mate." And that, of course, is when the fighting started. You know, a Christmas tradition that has stayed with us to this very day. Well, it is in Denby anyway. So, this Christmas, when we wake up naked and groaning in a pool of our own vomit, let us spare a thought for the little child Santa Claus, and for those shepherds on the hillsides of Bethesda who to this day walk down backwards just in case they should meet an angel off the lead. Well, Merry Christmas, Nadolig llawn I chi.